Come on now. You already know what this is. First things first, God did this. Don't get mad with us. I'm your humble host, your man, your myth, your legend, Eric Knight. And we got the legacy maker himself, Mr. Exclusive. And we got the one man and the only man that's going to check you into the Heartbreak Hotel. That's the Heartbreak Prince himself. And we
Sure.
also got my
I'm sorry.
man, a TikTok legend himself, my man OVW Dropout. He's here with us today, man. Co-hosting with us. How you feeling, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me here. I
Of
appreciate
course,
it.
of course.
Yeah,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Glad to have you. Glad to have
Yep.
you, man.
Yep, glad to have you here.
All right, now look. This week of wrestling was a little interesting. Well, some may say a bit of a pipe bomb, and some may say with Sean cooking up. But we got to start it off with the 2 hours and 30 minutes of fire with Monday Night Raw, baby. Man, Raw was a little interesting. A few things that's happened. A few interesting things and a couple of, well, at least one unfortunate thing that's happened. But we kicked it off with, you know, good old Liv Morgan, man. Look, Liv comes out, her and Dirty Dom. They come out, she's out here just talking her ish, saying all these things and how she really deserves to be the queen of the ring, how she deserves to be the women's champion. Also, even says a few things about how she actually just deserves to be almost handed the world champion. But Io comes out. Io comes out. She tells her, "Look, I'm not about to give you nothing. You need to earn this." Then at one point, Liv said, "Just hand it to me. Just give me the title." Io said, "Okay." Hands her the title, and then drop kicks Liv Morgan. Then to the point she gives her a nice good kick to the head and gives Dom a kick to the head. And honestly, Io looked really good. But to the point where Liv and Dom, they, escape, go backstage, and we'll see what happens after that. Then we flash forward to the fatal four-way match with Raquel Gonzalez, Stephanie Vaquer, La Primera, the return of Asuka and Ivy Nile. And honestly, in the midst of Raquel possibly getting the dub, who comes out and stops that? Mommy. Oh, yeah, that's right. Mommy comes, hits her with a finisher, stops that whole situation. Asuka comes, hits her move, what they call, I guess, the Empress. I don't know. It was a great move. I mean, it's a different move from Asuka. Gets the finish, and now she is one of the finalists, well, at least one of the main people to be advancing to the tournament. Then we flash forward to, man, this was tough to watch here. Gunther. Okay, Gunther comes out. He tells Seth, it doesn't matter what he's doing. He can come out right now if he wants to. Okay, he has no, at this point, we're thinking, okay, it's just Gunther talking this stuff. He even says some stuff about Jey Uso, but then who comes out? Yeah,
Oh, bird.
yeah,
Oh, bird.
yeah, you said it right. Old Bird. Yeah, that's right. Old Bird comes out. Ah, man, let's get this over with. All right, yeah. So Oldberg comes out, he says to Gunther, I want to congratulate you on everything, but you said something to me and my family a few months ago. A few months ago? Or almost a year ago. Stop lying, Oldberg. He comes out, tells him, look, you have some stuff you said about my family, and I just want to let you know, you're next. So, yeah, it's going to be Oldberg and Gunther at Saturday Night's main event. This has already been rumored. It's already been talked about. Yeah, let's go ahead to the next one at this point. Then we flash forward with AJ Styles and JD McDonough. Okay. And then at the point where AJ Styles actually gets the dub on JD McDonough, Dirty Dom and the Judgment Day tried to circle AJ Styles. It wasn't about to happen. Okay. AJ Styles finesses pretty much in a great way. AJ Styles would do the phenomenal one. Come on, who we talking about? Takes the title, walks off with it. And now this man has got a title shot at Night of Champions. Go ahead, phenomenal. Then we flash forward to, hey, look, Bailey and Becky. Man, look, I ain't gonna lie. This was actually a really good promo right here. I mean, to the point where Bailey kind of just, she came out, she talked about a lot of things, really talked about, just how almost not even just selfish, but how insecure Becky was for pretty much just attacking her and taking her spot at WrestleMania. Becky comes out, says, "When's the last time you held gold? When's the last time you even had gold?" Thought it was interesting. Then she declares and tells Becky, I'll give you a title, I'll give you a match, but not for the title, not in Green Bay. So we're gonna see that next week. Becky actually tries to slap Bailey. Huh, that didn't do much. Bailey gets that good elbow on Becky. And Becky, tries to scurry away. Classic Becky. Uh, you know. But I like this from both of them. This is great work. Then we flash forward to the main event. Now, this was pretty crazy. I mean, you want to talk about everybody was clocked in for work. You want to talk about everybody came to where ain't nobody call out. Okay. We had the fatal four-way match with Jey Uso, Bronson Reed, Sheamus, and Rusev. And I mean, man, that was a banger of a match. But then Braun Breaker comes out, pushes Jay. Then all of a sudden, here comes Sami Zayn beating the hell out of Braun Breaker. Then all of a sudden, here comes Penta just running through the ring, hitting Braun Breaker. Then freaking LA Knight stopping Bronson Reed, tossing him out. And man, look, my man Jay gets a spear on Bronson Reed, hits two frog splashes on Bronson Reed, gets the dub. But then somebody else is clocked in for work. Yeah, Seth freaking Rollins. Now he comes out. He's ready. Now this man's looking pissed coming down the ramp. And man, it looks like he was getting ready to go ahead and attack Jay. But then, who comes out? Man. Cody, man. Cody comes out. Stops Seth. Now it's to the point where him and Seth having this crazy intense stare down for a good maybe minute to almost 2 minutes. I mean, to the point where Seth starts seizing. He starts just kind of shaking up, looking all red in the face. Seth decides to walk out. Takes his ball. I mean, he takes the group, and they walk out. And this is the finish right here. Man, I ain't gonna lie, man. I ain't gonna lie. You want to talk about aura. You want to talk about storyline. You want to talk about how good is this getting. Okay, look. I mean, probably one of my favorite things that I love to see, probably a couple things, honestly, a couple things. First thing, let's just knock out the BS real quick. Gunther and Goldberg, get this out the way now. Let's end this.
Get out of here.
Want to see it. We don't want to see it. Don't nobody want to see it. Hell, I'm pretty sure this is a lot of people's thoughts. I mean, unless you really want to be a Goldberg fan or an Oldberg fan, hell, honestly, I'd rather see Gilbert versus Gunther. Goldberg versus Gunther. Okay?
Gilbert.
I can't, man.
Gilbert.
I would rather. I feel like Gilbert will give us a classic at this point. I
Gilbert,
can't
my
with
dude,
this,
though,
man.
low-key. Hey, you gotta put respect on Gilbert name. Former cruiserweight or lightweight heavyweight champion of the world, 2-time, I believe.
2-time. Come on, bro.
Get the sparklers.
Gilbert, get him. I'd rather see Gilbert. That'd be more entertaining. Honestly, I just don't want to see Gunther. It's insane. But one of the main things I definitely got to talk about was that main event, man. They put on a classic of a match. And honestly, again, what I love is to see how everybody has some type of involvement in this. I mean, honestly, we talking about Braun Breaker, first of all, doing what he's doing. It makes sense for him and Seth. But then, when you got Sammy just coming out the woolworks, then you got, first of all, Penta. I was a little shocked at first, but I said, okay, I remember this. Braun definitely speared the hell out of Penta. Let's get it. And then, honestly, LA Knight, man. LA Knight, just his involvement with everything that's going on with Seth, with the whole group. I'm loving this, man. The last thing, honestly, that stare down between Cody and Seth, you want to talk about sus? Oh, yeah, y'all are sus, bro. Because honestly, I keep thinking about, and I've said this before, I keep always thinking about that time when Jay was coming out on SmackDown before Money in the Bank. and Seth whispers something to Cody. Why is it every time you don't ever see Cody and Seth? They never put no hands on each other. Now we get it. You know they've had history. They fought against each other. They fought with each other. And now at this point, they're two separate paths. But I wonder if maybe these two paths are going to align. But after what we seen, last night on SmackDown, that might change. Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how we're gonna get LA Knight, like what his role is gonna be in this final outcome that happens between him, Seth, and then you have Cody. It's so many people, so many hands in this pot right here. It's just I don't know where they want to go with this. LA Knight is really hot right now. Being Monday nights and then yesterday SmackDown. So I love seeing his involvement, but it just got me thinking about like where are we going with LA Knight and his character and is this like his time? You still got unfinished business with Cody and Cena. And then like I said, you got Seth Rollins in here with this money in the bank. And like who is he going to cash this in on? Who makes the biggest pop for him to cash in the money in the bank briefcase on? And I still feel like it's Cena. If it were to come down to it, I don't see why Gunther would be a big deal, but I do know, and that's another thing we talk about. Like, well, Seth is on the red brand, but then at this point in time, is it really is the brand split really a thing anymore? Like we have wrestlers crossing over, multiple times. So, I don't know. I'm just thinking at this point in time, what would be best for business? What would we like to see? And so it's good. This story is really good just because you have so many hands in the pot, and it's like so many people that you can see literally being the champion. So I love this. I love this segment. I still just feel bad for Jay and kind of how this whole thing, man, seeing Oldberg come out this week. I love Goldberg. Don't get me wrong. I loved Goldberg as a kid. He was a big reason why I watched WCW. I remember my dad taking us to a WCW event that was here in Virginia. And, it was partly because of him, Rey Mysterio at the time in WCW, Chris Jericho, stuff like that. And so I loved them then. But like to see that they did this whole storyline of Jay losing the belt, put it on Gunther for this match. I don't know. I feel like we could have done better there. It's still good seeing him, come out and kind of just had that nostalgia of Goldberg, the way he comes out, the fire sprinklers, lighters, whatever you want to call them, all that stuff. But it's just come on, man. We could have did better with Jay. We could have let him lose this at a PLE. If this is just going to be a Saturday night's main event, then Jay could have kept the title. We could have just saw this as a match between Gunther and Goldberg at that point in time. And then lastly, I want to just touch on Becky and Bayley. Those two in the ring, they really did do a great job. They cooked. You can tell the chemistry is there, the history is there, all of the little callbacks, things of that nature. It was good seeing that. I think was it you, Mr. Exclusive, or it might have been you, E. Y'all were spot on with like this whole thing with Lyra because she kind of showed a little bit of a heelish turn this week. I'm saying heelish. I'm not saying fool here. But that backstage thing, yeah, I said Mr. Exclusive mentioned that about the look she gave, but the way she approached Bayley, it was a little devilish. So I'm interested to see where that goes as well. I mean, like I said, they got a few good little storylines going, but right now, the whole thing between Seth, Jay, LA Knight, Cody, that's fire right now.
Yeah, man. Hey, Obi Dub, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Man, a lot to unpack here. First of all, I have to give credit to Triple H and the creative writing team because one of my biggest gripes about Triple H, especially this year, was the fact that his creative was too predictable. I mean, you could predict what was going to happen from Raw to SmackDown, from SummerSlam to WrestleMania. Everything was just too predictable. Right now, it seems like everything is up in the air. We don't know what's going to happen. As you guys mentioned, Penta, LA Knight, Jey Uso losing the belt, Seth Rollins coming in. Like, there's just so much going on. And honestly, everything is just so unpredictable. I can't even tell you what's going to happen next. And I just have to give credit to Triple H. in that regard, because that's the beauty of professional wrestling. Like, I don't want to be able to predict what's going to happen next. I want you to surprise me. You know what I'm saying? I want you to just, yo, give me the story. I could try to figure it out, but at the end of the day, I'm wrong. You swerved us in a way. So I got to give Triple H credit there. As far as guy mentioned Bailey and Lyra, honestly, I feel as if Bailey is going to be the one to turn heel.
Mm.
I feel as if Bailey may turn on Lyra. I think Bailey and Becky is going to have their match. It's going to be good, and Lyra's going to get involved somewhere, and then Bailey may just turn on Lyra. That's what I've been thinking the past couple of weeks. But I don't know. You brought up a good point. Lyra showed a little bit of heel energy backstage on Raw, so that may be the case as well. I'm not sure, but I think that's a really interesting story to look closely at there. But the big topic of everything is Goldberg, right? Goldberg coming back. I'm I'm not a fan of Jey Uso. I'll be the first to admit that. I think dude is highly overrated. That's just my personal opinion. Please don't come for me. But I feel I feel as if they disrespected him as world champion. First of all, this man, and it's been said so many times, this man was not given a title defense on a premium live event. I know he only held it from WrestleMania until Raw a couple of weeks ago, and there were only two PLEs in between that point. But he wasn't given the opportunity to defend that title on a main stage at a premium live event. Number two, they took the belt off of him on a random Monday Night Raw. And the only reason to do that was to set up Goldberg and Gunther for Saturday night's main event, which makes no sense. Reports have come out that Goldberg injured himself training for this little 3-minute match that he's gonna have.
Yeah, he's gonna have.
Yeah, like he hurt himself training for 3 minutes in the ring.
He said 3 minutes.
Yeah, he was seen limping to the ring on his way, on Monday Night Raw. Something about his shoulder, like he has some type of shoulder injury. His knee is giving out.
Yep.
If your finisher is the spear and the jackhammer, how does that work? You can't.
Those are your two main components that you need.
You need those knees, man.
And shoulder. If that's your entire moveset is a spear and a jackhammer, then what type of match is this going to be? I don't know. So I'm not looking forward to the match per se, but for sure I'm gonna watch it for all the wrong reasons. Like, I don't wish any injury upon anybody, but I just want to see what's going to happen in that match. Is Goldberg going to injure somebody? Is he going to injure himself? Like, because that's going to be the main talking point if that does happen. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. WWE really fumbled the bag on this one, trying to bring Goldberg back. Dude is almost 60 years old. Like, come on, man. Like, you couldn't think of anything better, especially that weekend and the weekend of All In, when you're trying to counter program them. You couldn't think of anything else better than a 60-year-old Goldberg.
Yeah.
And like, come on, bro. I don't know what's going on. So I don't know.
And shout out to Loaded as well. We appreciate you, man. He checked out the content yesterday and he popped in today. But OVW, I think
what's up, Josh?
I 100% like, and I think that's the thing with Jay. Like, I don't think any of us on here, like absolutely love Jey Uso. I think we really like him. I think it's like we said before, like it's more of just how they handled it, like how they did it. That's just bothersome more than anything. And I think that seems to be the consensus for everybody. But yeah. The Triple H and them, the creative team could have done better.
Yeah, they do. Mr. Exclusive, what's your thoughts, man? What you think?
There's so much to unpack here. But I'll piggyback on. Yes, I am wearing a Goldberg shirt today. Why? Because it's the first shirt that I grabbed out of the bag. And but look, let's go ahead and honor Goldberg as they put him out the pasture. It is time. Yeah. It is time for us to get. I know his contract. I think he had 5 matches, I think, that was supposed to happen during this contract. Thank God this is the last one. Mm-hmm. They better not let this man back in the ring after this. Now, you OVW, you talked about something that's very interesting, about the injuries leading up into this match. Here's the problem with me. if you remember a couple matches ago, I think it was when he was facing the Undertaker. He tried to get the Undertaker up in that in the jackhammer, and he could barely lift him then. And that was a couple years. That was like what 5-6 years ago. If you can't do that, then what do you think you're going to be able to do now? So look,
Gunther's a big man, man.
I hope it's quick. And I hope it's silent. I'm wanting like 3 minutes is all I'm asking for. You know, let him get the spear if he can get it off. Let him get a jackhammer, but then I need Gunther to just turn around, put him to sleep slowly. And that's all I can ask for. And that's all I can ask for. Like I said, and you know, HB Prince made a good point too. It was cool to kind of see him come out. Look, whenever you hear Goldberg's music, you're gonna get the chills. Because 13, 14-year-old me, when but like all that, the knocking on the door, hey, Goldberg, we're ready, all that stuff. That's nostalgic that you can never take away from us, and you know, as kids that we loved. So that part, that's all I really care about. Once he get in the ring, they can end that match as soon as he walk in. Yep. That's how I feel. You can walk up, ding, ding, ding. It's over. All right, I got the entrance. I'm good. So that's all I really got on that. Then talking about Becky and Bayley. Now I was a person. You know how I feel about Becky, y'all. Becky's solid in the ring. I just can't stand when she starts talking. I don't care how good the promo is. And like her promo work got ruined for me a couple of years ago after she won the title when she was the double champion, and they kept letting her get on the mic on Monday Night Raw and talk for 30, 40 minutes or whatever. That's what it felt like anyway. And from that point on, I'm just like, every time she get in the ring, I'm like, no. I'm all over the place. I'm not paying any attention to what she said. Now, she has been doing good promo work overall. I just don't like to listen to her. With that being said, I'll just say that I like this for the Intercontinental title. You got two of your vets, two of the most recognizable names in women's wrestling, trying to legitimize this Intercontinental title. And then you sprinkle in Lyra, who was obviously the first champion, but you kind of help build that division up by having these two talented, amazing, you know, wrestlers and who have been doing it for 10 plus years and beyond to help build the Intercontinental title up and make it a legitimate mid-card title. And that's going to be important. I think that's important in all cases. I felt that way when they made Bayley and Sasha at the time the women's tag team titles, but then they squandered it after a month. So that's why that tag team title has never been right, because they never did right with it in the first place. But I like that for them. I do like that for them. Love seeing Asuka back, having Asuka back in the mix. Still kind of weird on the finisher. I think just go back to the sleeper and stuff like that. I don't know what that is, but we'll see how she does and everything like that. But overall, I love Raw. And I thought that the ending was chaotic. I think the fact that we really don't know, and OVW, you mentioned it, like we don't know what's going on. There was a lot of predictability. We knew those PLEs were coming up. They had those 5 matches, and we knew exactly kind of how they were going to end. And so this, for the first time, gives us something to kind of think about. And so, okay, well, what are they going to do? Maybe it's LA Knight that pops in here and he's going to do this thing. Who knows? Maybe they decide to push Penta. Like, you just don't know. And that's the best way it can be as a wrestling fan. I don't want to know every single thing that's going to happen. Surprise me. Surprise me. When I was a kid and we got this element of surprise, that was the best thing. I love the element of surprise. Don't keep giving me stuff that, you know what you call, Dirt Sheets come out as, what you call Poseidon, so he should be at the event. I don't care. If I could push all of that out the way and just get back to the excitement of just being surprised about wrestling and enjoyment of that. So yes, I'm excited to see what that will kind of end up being. But overall for me, Raw was a really, really solid Raw. And I was good with it. I was good with it overall.
Yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie. I think the only one sour thing that I hated to see, man, my girl Liv, man. Liv getting injured.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was because it happened so fast. And, and people got to stop, man. Y'all can't keep blaming Kyrie Sane for this. This was a complete freak accident. Everything happened the way it was supposed to. Liv came down the way she was supposed to. Like, it's sad to see. Thoughts and prayers go to you, Liv. Hey, we love you, Liv, honestly. You know how I feel about your girl. I said my stuff before, and you have over-succeeded to my expectations. Still the MVP for this year, I think.
Yeah.
But, apparently I think they're saying she might be out for 6 months.
6 months.
So having to undergo surgery. Man. So we'll see. But, I mean, with those 6 months.
I think that messes up the Evolution card.
I was hearing that they had to redo the card completely because of this injury. They said that originally it messed up everything, so they had to completely redo everything on the card, which is a very interesting. But it also tells you, like to Eric's point, why Liv is the MVP. If that messed up the card that much, you had to go back and redo everything. That's very interesting. The only other thing I wanted to like quick add with it is just what does this, and I'll ask you all this, like what does this do for Judgment Day? Because she's like this is huge. Like if she's out for 6 months, what does that do for Judgment Day? Because like there's a lot of storylines into that.
Yeah,
Obi, I'll let you go.
Yeah.
He's about to say. I'm about to say.
Yeah, you got it. Talk it. Walk it like you're talking, bro. You got it.
I was just gonna say, there's already tension between Liv Morgan, was it Roxanne, I believe is her name, and then Dom being in the middle. Now they're vacating the titles, I believe. Now that Liv is out, I felt as if they could have inserted Roxanne into the mix and allowed her to be like not necessarily the leader, but the Liv Morgan of the Judgment Day while Liv Morgan was out, build her up so much. And then once Liv Morgan comes back, because Liv Morgan is going to get a pop whenever she comes back. Bam, those two together, fighting it out. And then we can see what happens next after that. That's what I feel like they should do. I don't necessarily know that they vacated the titles just yet. I know that's an idea. But I feel as if that's one road that they can go down and kind of see like what can happen there. But I don't know, man. Like you said, Liv Morgan, MVP of the women's division, man, all last year and this year. Like it really hurt me to see that she went down hurt, man, because she's so good at what she does.
Now, I want to piggyback off of that. I like could you imagine like if Roxanne comes in, takes Liv's spot. She's like, hey, look, Raquel, we could be tag team champions together, right? She does that part. And this is it's weird. It's almost like karma or whatever, because you got to remember, you got to remember, like Liv did it to Rhea. And for Roxanne to come, you can, in somehow, some way, you can extend the Judgment Day longer than we probably thought it was. We thought it was over 2 WrestleManias ago. So then you can extend it another 6 months. And all of a sudden, Roxanne has come in and built herself up, but then on top of that, all of a sudden, slowly but surely, she just starts to creep in on Dom. And then when Liv gets back, what is this? Why are you doing this to me? And then it's deja vu. It's deja vu.
Yeah, I'm of the same mindset. That was my thought process, was that Roxanne would just slide in, sort of like we saw with Naomi and Jade Cargill, but that Roxanne would slide in, pick up the other title belt. They would kind of make a run with it, and then you have a whole nother story when Liv comes back about Roxanne trying to be the replacement to Liv. But I don't know if they'll go that way or if they will vacate and have a whole title, like tag team title thing or event or whatever. But I do like I think you have more story if you allow Roxanne to like just slide in and pick up the pieces, and then you have a story when Liv actually returns.
Exactly. Yeah, because you're building. There's this whole issue with WWE creating new stars lately. You can do that with Roxanne, right? There. Easy money. Yeah.
And I think Roxanne has a really good personality to do it, because she's kind of in that same vein as Liv, like that personality that she has would fit well with like her doing something like this and then trying to be like the Liv 2.0. I don't, for lack of a better way of saying it, but just I think she has the personality and the character to do it.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And I think since it's about to be maybe 6 months, I think what they might do is they might let it roll out to probably the Royal Rumble. Let her come back for the Rumble, get that major pop. Might come at number 30. I think that'd be really good if they do that for her. So we'll definitely see what happens with that.
I got dibs on 30 on the Rumble. On the Rumble pool.
But
hey, Mr. Xclusive, if you can hear us, you mute it. You were saying something, but you your volume out.
Oh yeah, he muted. Okay, it's all right. It's all right. Hopefully we'll get you back on. Oh, he said he did a little tippy tattle. I don't know what's going on. We'll get you back. We'll get you back. We'll get him back. We'll get him back. We should be getting him back any second now. But we talked about some of the great things that happened with Raw. Now it's 100% time to talk about my man Shawn Michaels hooking it up with NXT, baby. gonna get Mr. Exclusive back in a second. But, So, NXT had a lot of great things that happened. I can say a lot of great things that, when is Sean not doing what he's supposed to do? Honestly, this was a great episode. But we kicked it off with, my girl Jada Parker, man. Look, Jada Parker and Thea Hale. Now, this was a qualifying match for a match at Evolution to go up against JC Jane. Now, the first match that we had was Jada Parker going up against Thea Hale. Now, how this happened, Thea Hale had Jada in her submission. Now, ref didn't see it, but Jada tapped out. Okay? Thea thought that the whole match was won. Oh, no. Ref didn't see nothing, kept it going. And then what happens? Jada Parker hits her with a hypnotic and gets the dub over Thea Hale. And, man, honestly, now she solidifies herself in that fatal four-way match. Then we flash forward to my girl, man, Lonnie and the big Lash herself, Lash Legends. Man, look,
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna keep taking this disrespect y'all keep trying to say about Lash with that one little situation she had last week, but she showed y'all what time it was. When she hit that finisher on Kalani, man, look, they had a great match as well. But Lash, now she's in the fatal four-way match, and I love what they're doing with this, man. Then we flash forward to a situation. Now, look. Okay, look, we done had the OG on here last night. Now, I'm going to tell you something about Jasper Troy. Jasper Troy ain't looking better. Now, I ain't going to cap. Javon told Jasper, look, hey, good match you had, you know what I'm saying? But, hey, you know what I'm saying? Wish you couldn't get I see you couldn't get it done. Jasper felt some type of way about that. They tried to get in the young OG's face. Now, look at that. Man, come on. Look at Javon. Javon ain't got no care, worry in the world. Man, I wish you would try the young OG like that, man. Wish you would try my boy like that. Look, he ain't having. So it's going to be Javon and Jasper Troy next week on NXT. And, man, I can't wait to see it. Javon, young OG, show him what time it is. Then we flash forward to, man, Tony D'Angelo, man. This was just a killer right here. I mean, Tony first was telling Luca, man, like, what is the problem here? Why didn't you hit Stacks at the time? How come you were silent? Where were you at the whole time? I mean, this is just nothing but a bunch of questions. Why? Tell him maybe that's his human nature. And I ain't talking Michael Jackson at this point. I mean, just a whole bunch of questions he's asking this man. But then Stacks comes out, distracts Luca. They try to hit each other. Luca tries to help the Don. Stacks dodges. And now Luca hits the Don. And now at this point, the Don is just questioning everything and everybody, because now at this point, Luca does not look like he's here to help. As much as he keeps trying to say he's here for the Don, he's here to help the Don. I don't know, man. Stacks even said to Luca, like, you know what to do.
I was thinking the same thing. Look at Stacks in the background. he looked like the dog. He looked like the dog from Scooby-Doo that used to lay. Like that dog. The dog with the trench coat. That's what he looked like right now.
I said, oh my God. I mean, for Stacks, this is working out. But for Luca, man, I don't know, man. This ain't good for you, man. Then we flash forward. Hey, man, I hate to say it to have my man Trick, Hollywood Trick, Two Brand Trick, and I ain't gonna say on the moniker because I normally would say, but we had a 6-man tag with AJ Francis, Trick Williams, Wesley going up against Elijah, Josh Briggs, and Inamura. And honestly, it was a great match. Love how it went out. Honestly, what I like the backstage promo that they did with, First Class and Trick and even with Wes, and to the point where Wes and Trick had a bit of a heart-to-heart. Trick actually apologized to Wesley and said, hey, I was tripping. That was my bad. And I like how you try to apologize being the bigger man for slapping the hell out of Wesley. I get it. But honestly, this is how it was. And what happened even after this, they're saying now that this might give Inamura an opportunity for a title shot for the TNA champion. But apparently, Inamura gave that title shot to Josh Briggs. So we'll see what happens with that. Then we flash forward to Izzy Dane and Zarya. Now, the interesting thing with this, and we've been kind of talking about this for a while, was Sol Ruka just constantly being there with Zarya. But, of course, we know what's been going on with Tatum Paxley backstage, talking with them. They told Tatum, look, you're our friend. We're here with you. Cap. Because when Tatum came back there and tried to hug Sol acted like she was so surprised. She was so shocked, so upset, so scared. To the point where she screamed so loud, Zarya got distracted. And, of course, what happens? Izzy Dane getting the dub over Zarya And I mean, this is not a surprise when it comes to this. Zarya has not been looking good since she's been with Soul. And honestly, that's how it's looking. But then we flash forward to backstage. Now Zarya's pissed. Zarya's to the point like, Tatum, it's your fault. It's all this, that, and the third. But then Izzy Dane comes and tells Tatum, look, you ain't got to worry about them. They're not no real friends. Any real friend would have supported you. Any real friend would have been there for you. To the point where, you know, Tatum takes the doll and kind of leaves it there and almost leaves with Izzy. We'll see what happens with that. Then we flash forward to, hey, look, a banger of a match. Honestly, with Lola, before even my girl Blake came around. Okay, we had a match with Lola Vice and Jordan Grace, and Jordan Grace getting the dub. And I mean, honestly, that was a great match. But I mean, a lot of people was pulling for my girl Lola Vice to get that. Then we flash forward to now Blake Monroe. Now, when Blake Monroe came around, this was a beautiful sight to see. I mean, they gave her the vignettes. They really showed everything with her. I mean, the whole nine. They showed, I mean, just so much with the glamour. She said that the spotlight's on her, telling the division that's all about her and that her time is coming soon. But who comes out? That girl, JC Jane, man. After she done signed the contract, JC Jane comes out, tells her, look, you're just another hot thing of the week. You're not going to be too much. And what I love to see from Blake Monroe, it just gave me flashbacks of when she slapped the hell out of her mom at All In, slapping the hell out of JC Jane. And man, this was great. But that didn't last too long. Fatal Influence kind of started beating the hell out of Blake Monroe, and then to the point where they put her through the table. And this is the finish right here. You want to talk about the anger of NXT, man? I didn't have no problems with anything that happened with NXT this week, man. I think they told a lot of great stories. Okay, look, first thing, love to see Jada in that fatal four-way. Come on, girl. Come on, Miss Parker. We know what you're gonna do up in there. Then, of course, Lash and Lonnie. Okay, y'all know how I feel about my girl Lonnie, man. Look, Lonnie killed it. I think for Lash, look, and I told this before, and I'm gonna say this again. That Lash disrespect's gonna stop. People saying, "Oh, Lash need more time." First of all, stop playing with Lash like she wasn't doing a whole bunch of stuff on the main roster with her and Jakara Jackson. Stop playing like she wasn't pulling out moves that you ain't never seen before. Stop playing like she didn't have a banger match with her and Jakara going up against Bianca and Jade. Like she didn't do that at the NXT PLE a while ago in a fatal four-way tag team match. It's funny how one thing happens, y'all want to sit there and try to crucify my girl Lash. But she showed y'all what time it was. Gave that finish to the line. Okay? Anyway. Next thing, of course, I talked about, my man Trick and Wesley. I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was good. First of all, anytime it seems like, I used to think Trick had a problem with light-skinned brothers, but then when he said this whole thing about the light-skinned brothers with first class, I said, you know what, Trick, it's all right. We ain't gonna do the light versus dark thing. We ain't gonna do that. I like how you did that, Trick. You look good, you look strong, and honestly, you killed it on Impact as well. You know how we feel about the Hollywood Trick. Keep doing your thing, man. Another thing, Izzy, I think there's a promising future with her. Something about Izzy and Tatum, we could be possibly saying maybe a tag team with them, but maybe she will be joining the Culling. Could be seeing two women and two men. So I'm very curious to see what they do with that. And then honestly, last thing, Blake Monroe. That slap. Boy, I mean, you want to talk about a flashback. Okay. That slap was incredible. I love the slap that she gave. I like the story that they're telling. Granted, we are throwing Blake Monroe into the mix with the NXT title. Not gonna lie. This is a little too damn fast for me. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I don't have a problem with Blake Monroe being in this spotlight right now, but I think it is a little crazy. And again, we've talked about this before. The hot potato, the shiny new toy method we've been talking about. Hey, we see where she's come from. Look how fast she done came into the title picture. So, it's a little concerning. I'm not mad about it, but I am concerned. I don't want to see Blake Monroe get that title so fast. Because again, we have so many women that are in this fatal four-way match right now that have a prominent future that could be doing something. So we'll see what happens. Dub, what's your thoughts, man? What you think?
Man, I think first and foremost, shout out to the women's division all across professional wrestling. Like, I feel as if this is their peak, man. They are just killing it everywhere you turn. Every time you turn on a wrestling show, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, these women are just absolutely killing it right now. So shout out to them. First of all, you bring up Blake Monroe. I have been one of the people who was against Blake Monroe going to NXT, given where she ended in AEW with arguably the greatest women's storyline ever with Tony
Mhm.
Storm, and it culminating in that Hollywood ending, which was it's definitely in my top five for this year. Such an incredible match. For her to go from that to NXT, I had a problem with. I felt as if she was selling herself short. I felt as if, she should have been introduced on the main roster, but that's, another conversation for another day. She's in NXT, I hope she does well. Don't necessarily like the name Blake Monroe, but hey, it is what it is. I'll get over it eventually. But I just hope that she thrives in NXT and then also thrives in WWE because right now it's so hard. I mean, it's so easy to get lost in the shuffle, especially with the women's roster that they have in NXT and then also in WWE. I just feel as if it's so easy to get lost in the shuffle. So I hope with the talent that they have, I hope that they recognize the talent that they have with Blake Monroe and they take care of her. They use her the right way. As far as Lash Legend and my girl Jada Parker, Miss Parker, man, like I'm so happy, that Jada Parker won. I've been a huge Jada Parker fan for a while now. I think she's ready to hold a title. I'm not even gonna cap. Like I feel as if you need to go ahead and give her the title for sure because she deserves it. And also, man, give her the title, let her run with it for a little bit, and then introduce her to the main roster. I feel as if, with a run with the NXT title, I feel as if she'll be ready for the main one. So I don't know. We'll see about that. And as far as everything else, man, like Javon Evans, huge fan of Javon. Like this kid is literally like 15 years old and he's like killing it right now. Like no, legit. He's like what, 19, 20 years old?
21.
21.
Just
Oh,
turned
he's
21.
21.
Yeah.
Just turned
He just
21.
turned 20. Dude has an amazing future ahead of him, man. So same thing with him. I hope that they utilize him the right way because dude has a lot of potential. I love his match at what was it, Worlds Collide. Like, dude, just like I said, I hope they utilize him correctly, man. I feel as if he has a bright future. So yeah, man. Shout out to Javon Evans, Miss Parker, Mariah May. I'm gonna call her Mariah May until I can, say Blake Monroe on a consistent basis. But yeah, man. I mean, yeah, NXT. It was a good show, man. Shout out to Shawn Michaels, dude. Like he's just it's night and day between Shawn Michaels and Triple H in their
Night and
creative
day.
process. Like, what in the world? Like, at some point in time, we probably have to have a conversation about Shawn Michaels possibly coming up to the main roster and helping out with them because he's on a roll, bro. But yeah, shout out to everybody on NXT.
Yeah, man. Heartbreak Prince, what's your thoughts, man? What you think?
Yeah, I think OV Dub nailed it. It was a few things he touched on. The Blake Monroe name change is interesting because her move was the Mayday, and so I don't know what it's going to be now. What they're gonna redub it. But
Blake,
my
Blake
you said do what?
Bay.
The Blake
Blake Bay.
Blake Bay. Preposterous. But no, I think with this right here, and we've talked about it before with people from outside WWE coming into it, going in NXT being the shiny new toy and immediately being thrust into the title scene. We kind of saw something like that with Jasper Troy just last week, as a matter of fact. It wouldn't surprise me if Blake Monroe is thrust into the main title picture. My thing about it is I agree with OV Dub because I had the same mindset. Like I don't understand why coming from a big promotion like AEW, she would go to NXT. And the only reason I could think is probably like I feel about like Julia, Stephanie Varker, Ricky Saints, is that WWE maybe wants them to learn like how they do things, get a feel for their style of filming wrestling, and then they'll move her on to the main roster. I can't see a talent like Blake Monroe or Mariah May sitting on NXT for long. Because I'm sure there's a lot of things they can do with her, especially on the main roster and with the main roster talent that they have. And then it'll also give opportunities to the group of women that is currently in NXT, such as a Jada Parker or a Lash Legends. I'm happy to see this week that Jada picked up a win and Lash picked up a win, because they've been doing them kind of dirty for a minute now. They were kind of on a rise, and then all of a sudden it seemed like things soured and they started losing matches left and right. But this week they picked up wins, and they're moving forward in their stories as far as, you know, who can be the next challenger and possibly the next women's championship. And it is a big shout out to women's wrestling and how, you know, talented these women are that have been coming up and coming along through NXT, through WWE, through AEW. I mean, it's just phenomenal seeing it. Worlds collide in AAA. They got a lot going on there with the women and the talent there. Next, I'd like to talk about Javon Evans and Jasper Troy. I like what they're doing with Jasper in the sense that, you know, we see sometimes like people like Jasper coming in. They get a lot of these squash matches against people that are like no names. They kind of destroy them in like, you know, a few seconds just to kind of build them up and things like that. But I like how they're throwing him right into the frying pan. You know, he goes right into a match with Obafemi. He delivers in a match with Obafemi. That was a really good match that they had. And so now you get to go against, you know, the young OG. That's another good person to pair and put Jasper Troy in, because these are the hottest two things clicking and going right now in NXT. And so to start your career off in the ring with them kind of, you know, really says like a lot about what maybe backstage creative and leadership thinks about the potential of a Jasper Troy. And so I'm excited for this to see where this goes. I'm still annoyed about the big dog chain thing they got around my man's neck, specifically talking about Bubba Ray and how he felt about Evander Holyfield's son just having on a necklace, but you know, or having on a chain. But they put this on him in or whatever. But that is what it is. I mean, it's part of the character, I guess. Whatever. You know. And then lastly, we talk about the Don. You know, I gotta mention the Don. Because you know that is my boy in NXT, and I don't know where this is going. You know, I have trust in Shawn Michaels as the chef, because he always seems to be able to deliver, put together good stories. So I'm sure there is something good that is going to be brewing from this, whether it's a turn, a complete turn on the Don from, you know, from the family, and then maybe Mr. Exclusive, we talk about the Don having to bring in a new set of people. And have rivaling families going at it or whatever. But, you know, he's down on his luck right now, you know, between Stax, Lucafino, and then not even seeing Adriana Rizzo this week. You know, I'm still trying to figure out, like, you know, where is she at in all of this? But so it's like it's still got good elements of a story that's being told that I'm still interested and locked in on. But I just hate to see the Don he's taking L's like, you know, left and right, and he just can't seem to get it right now. But it's a good story. It's a good story going.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough right now for our guy to Don. You know, he was on such a high. You know, like he wins the North American Championship, and then when he won it, I felt like they didn't give him. He almost got the Jey Uso treatment a little bit, where it's just
he did.
I feel like he didn't get any like a chance to really like go somewhere with that title, especially when him and Ova were having such great matches leading up into that, and then his title reign is just like bloop, and they just kind of pushed it aside. And I don't know where Adriana Rizzo is, but there's a part of me that's starting to think that maybe she's out there recruiting for the Don. Maybe she's out there looking for new people for the Don, because I think if I remember, he said something about we don't even know where Adriana is. Don probably knows who Adriana is. Maybe he's playing stupid right now, trying to figure out exactly who is on his side and who's not. So I'm hoping that that's the case, because, like I said, they have to have rival families. It will make for a great storyline if you got two rival families going at it. And could you imagine what the vignettes are going to look like when the two rival families are going back and forth at each other? I mean, we're going to have our own, you know, Godfather movie. Right here on NXT, and I'm all here for it. So let's make that happen. I'm very pumped up about that. Talking about Zarya, we talked about it a little bit last week. I feel like out of all the new people that they brought in, she's probably the biggest disappointment, and it's only because of how they've used her. Maybe it's a long-term thing where eventually, you know, she's going to turn on Soul at some point. We know that's going to happen. That's what those buddy friendships end up happening. Somebody will get upset with somebody, and it's going to happen. But I feel like out of all the brand new toys that NXT had brought on, especially on the women front, she's probably the most disappointing one so far. because I heard her name and I didn't know that much about her. And a lot of these women that come in, I'm like, I never heard her before, but then they usually impress me. With her, I haven't been impressed. And I think it's because of the way they've used her. So when that turn does happen, that'll be interesting. I know, Eric, you said during the intro, you was like, well, Paxley came up and hugged Soul, and Soul looked a little shocked. I mean, but think about it. If you sitting there and focus on the match, somebody come and grab you from behind, you don't know who it is. You're like, hey man, what you doing?
Yeah, that would kind of
like that for. I was like, okay, I understand why she was a little shook by it. But then, yeah. Then Zarya comes in and she loses the match. But that's your fault. Stay focused, young lady. Stay focused. I do love the young OG still doing this thing right now. Him and Jasper Troy. I agree with you. HB Prince kind of getting him in a storyline, or keep getting him in solid storylines with bigger names. Because you bring in a big guy like that makes me think that Oba won't be there but too much longer. You can't have so many monsters on the brand, and Oba's one of those monsters. So don't be surprised if that's the move that happens there. I do want to give a shout out to Lola Vice, because I thought her match with Jordan Grace might have been the best match of the night. And Lola looked so good in the ring. I knew she wasn't going to win. Because Jordan Grace is the toy that they want to eventually put that title on it, and that's what makes another interesting dynamic, because now you have, Jordan Grace is one person that you at one point you think they're going to put the title on. Mariah May, Blake Monroe is another person that you're probably thinking they're going to put the title on at some point, which also makes me a little worried, because that means that this World Heavyweight Championship or this Women's NXT Championship is going to keep jumping around, which it has done too much, way too much. Here since Roxanne lost that title. It's like they don't know who they want to have their women's championship. It's like, oh, you want it now? Okay, you try it. You want to give it? Okay. That's the one thing that I don't like that they've been doing on that level. That and the North American Championship. Those two titles are getting pounced around way too much right now. So I don't like that, and I would like for them to bring some stability to those titles. And other than that, I mean, I thought NXT once again was a great show. Shout out to Jada Parker. Very heelish move. Heelish move with the tap. And people online are funny. Oh man, how's she a cheater? Oh man, like, all right, y'all, look. That's classic heel. Y'all ain't no real wrestling fans. That move, if you love heels, that's what wrestling's all about. Nobody said all that when Ric Flair was doing it.
I'm about to say Ric Flair did that so many times. Yeah.
But because it's Jada Parker, you don't like it. We all know the real reason, but I'm gonna let that fly. Mm-hmm. We all know the real reason, but I'm gonna let that fly. They don't hide their feelings nowadays. We just had Juneteenth. They don't hide their feelings nowadays. I'm just saying. But I digress.
And one thing real quick, because y'all have all brought it up. The thing with Soul and Zarya. They have not gotten away from this combo of them two, and I honestly think it's hurting both of them, to be honest with you, because Soul is the current North American champion, and we rarely see her having matches defending the title. It's kind of one of these things where she won it, and I don't know what they're doing with her. Like, there's no storyline really brewing. There's nothing going with it. She's not defending it every week or every other week at least. Like, eventually it's just going to be a match or a PLE, and she's going to lose it. And it's going to be like, well, she had a title run, I wish they would and then it's not like you got to hide Soul or like, insulate her. She can go in the ring. So I don't know why they don't have her wrestling and doing more and break her away from this Zarya thing being carried on the shoulders. Soul comes out, her music starts, or Zarya's music pop in or whatever, vice versa, however it goes. But like, just break them, let them go their own way, because they had the big vignettes when Zarya was coming with all the fire and her walking down the street and all that kind of stuff. And so you thought she was going to be legit coming in, and now she's here, and it's like I don't know. I do think they need to work on that a little bit more, because I do want to see the North American title, especially when it's in the capable hands of somebody like a Soul Ruka, be defended more, or at least displayed more in matches on NXT shows.
Well, they didn't hide it. I mean, when Stephanie and Kalani was defending that title,
that's my thing. We saw Kalani defending it
every week. I just knew going Wendy Chu and a couple others, and I was like, okay.
Yep.
No.
And I just knew going with Soul, they would probably do something very similar. But they haven't really done that.
Yeah, man. I definitely agree with y'all because
And I'm
I
aching for a
mean,
soul to be snapped.
no,
No, I don't know if that's no
I
Diddy
feel
or
you,
not, but
man.
whatever.
I don't know. I think because it's so we ain't going. I don't think that's a no Diddy on that one. But
Yeah, we'll let it
I
fly.
I agree with y'all, man. That is the one thing I've never really understood with that because like Souls only had one title defense, and that was against
It's
Kalani.
Kalani.
It was
Yeah.
against
So
Kalani.
it's like, why are we not? We got a lot of other women going for this NXT champion. Why aren't we throwing some of these women
At
onto
Soul.
the North American champion right now? Come
She
on,
done-
Sean,
she done
listen.
defended. She done defended the Speed Championship more than she done defended the North
Yeah.
American.
Yeah.
And she
I
tried
know.
to she tried to sneak that ugly belt in that picture. Girl,
The
get that
little-
stupid belt out of here. Come
Like,
on. Y'all see? Look, I'm like, come on, trying to sneak.
come on.
Girl,
Man.
look at trying to sneak this ugly belt. Look at this. Look at this.
Every time. She
Look
does
at
it every
that.
time.
Get that ugly belt.
Every
out of
time. Every time, man. Yeah, man. I just think like there's so many women that could possibly be, up and coming for that. I mean, of course, Tatum is another one. Remember when Sexy Red had the title? She was trying to, fight that title, get the title from Sexy Red a while back. I mean, that's
I forgot about
neither
almost
here or
forgot
there.
about that. That's Sexy right
She
there.
was the first one trying to get that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. We gotta. And Sean, again, you cook up every time, so I ain't mad at you. But this is the point where we do got to see a lot of these women that have lost. That eliminator, those eliminator matches. We gotta throw them in the North American title mix, man. We gotta do something. Either that or get Zarya away from Soul because this has got to stop.
Please.
We gotta let Soul get her own shine. So we'll
And
see what happens. With
and
that.
then you could also, I mean, if you're not going to go to the way that we've been thinking for a while, like give Jada the opportunity to be the women's champion. Let her carry the North American belt. See how that run goes. See how she does with that. Like, there's Lash, somebody, somebody that we think is up and coming or, should have had these opportunities by now. Let them carry the North American title.
Yeah, let them elevate that mid card. It can go. But we talked about some of the great things that happened with NXT with Shawn Michaels cooking it up. Now it's time to talk about the best part of the end of the week with Friday Night SmackDown. Now, I ain't gonna lie, man. SmackDown was a bit of a banger. I ain't gonna lie, SmackDown, y'all kind of did y'all thing with this one. I was not upset about a lot of things that happened on SmackDown. Why is that? Because we kicked it off with one of the great things about a promo that we can get. Yeah, my man LA Knight, man. Look, he came out and was saying how he pretty much got screwed out of Money in the Bank and how he's been screwing over Bronson Reed and screwing over Braun Breaker. And how he's been pretty much almost screwing over Seth Rollins. Paul Heyman comes out, tells him, your best bet is to get up out of here. Because if not, it's not only going to be just Seth, but you're going to be having pretty much an attack coming. And it's not a prediction. Oh, no, it's a spoiler. But, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker trying to attack LA Knight. LA Knight wasn't having that. You ain't going to get the yeah man himself. You're not. And what happened, man? My man LA Knight got a steel chair and had them boys running. Okay, look, when it comes to LA Knight and the crazy that this man is doing, I think he is on the cusp for going crazy. And honestly, the crowd was behind him. And that's what you want. That's what you need. Then we flash forward to Asuka versus Alexa Bliss, man. This was a good match. And this was solidifying the tournament. Now, these two were almost the two finals. Now we know it's going to be Asuka going up to whoever wins between Jade Cargill. And who's the other one that we got going up that win?
Roxanne Perez.
Roxanne Perez. Oh my God. Oh, and see now this makes me question a lot of things that's going on with this. So we'll see what's going on with that. But the interesting thing, even after this match, and I thought I almost kind of got a little bit of rock chills from it, was seeing Jade Cargill backstage with Meechin B-Fab. And boy, I said,
Hey.
This could be something.
A lot of black excellence back there.
Come on now. A lot of black excellence, man. I love to see that, man. It kind of made me think of just those shades of AEW when Jade had my girl Kira Hogan. Come on. Y'all know I love some Kira Hogan. That's neither here nor there. I thought about some things with that, and that's a possibility we could be seeing. Then we flash forward to Cody first coming out, talking about him being in the King of the Ring. Then we had Jay. Jay came out. He said, we boys, we tag team champs. We both finished our story, came and climbed the mountaintop. But it's just business, strictly between us if it becomes you and me. Then the lovable loser himself, Sami Zayn, comes out. Says how, it's funny how two of y'all are in here. Everybody knows y'all won a championship. I'm the only one that hasn't. And that was the interesting thing. Then Randy, man, I ain't gonna lie, Randy killed this one. Randy said to Cody, you already know what time it is with you and me. I will go through my brother to get number 15. Goes to Jey Uso. He says, look, I know how you feel. We go way back. Our families go way back. But it ain't going to be 4 letters, 1 word. It's going to be 3 letters, 1 move. I said, damn, Randy, you killing it with this one.
I thought it was cool, though.
I said, Randy's on top with this one. Then he tells Sammy, look, he said, we all believe, he said, everybody in this arena, everybody in this ring believes you are going to be a champion, but it ain't going to be now. And I said, hey, Randy, you killing Sammy's dreams. And honestly, he wasn't capping. Because what happened next, it was Randy versus Sammy.
Bam.
And Randy had beat Sammy, the lovable loser, yet again. I mean, this isn't a shot.
The lovable loser, but that's what he is.
But I'm interested to see what happens with him on Raw now, with him and Karrion Kross. So we'll see what happens with that. Yeah. Then we flash forward to Tiffy Time and Nia Jax. Now, Nia Jax came out, started saying some stuff, about Tiffany Stratton and all this, that, and third. Tiffy comes out, and she says she just talked to Nick and said to Nick that, that she and her are now about to have a last woman standing match next week on SmackDown. Nia starts to beat the hell out of Tiffy Time. But then who comes out? Caution in the bank, man. Look, Naomi tries to cash in the Money in the Bank, and I was for it. At first, I said, man, it's a little rushed, it's a little too fast, but I said, maybe not. But then what happens? Freaking Nia Jax, man, she gonna pull Naomi out of the ring and just stopped her a few times. Now, I wasn't mad about this, but this could mean something. When Nia Jax pulled Naomi out, this could mean something. Now, honestly, she hasn't attacked her. Naomi kind of gets pissed. And then Tiffany, somehow still escapes with the title. Man, you're killing me with this. Then we flash forward with, a match with Charlotte Flair and Chelsea Green. Now, Charlotte making Chelsea Green tap, and you see my girl Piper getting ready to just hit the hell out of Charlotte Flair, not even caring. Just kind of knocking her down, hitting her with that bomb that she hit. And then, who comes out? Alexa Bliss came out to even out the playing field for Charlotte Flair. She takes out Elbow Fire. She takes out Piper Niven. She takes out Chelsea Green. And then, Alexa and Charlotte have this standoff, and Alexa pulls her hand out, and Charlotte walks off. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, this is kind of what I've been telling people. They might be making this a tag team.
Tag team.
Out of desperate moves. But we'll see what happens with that. Then we flash forward to, man, this was emotional right here. My man, Jacob Fatu, the man with the magic boot. First of all, okay, Solo. Hey, Solo, I ain't gonna lie, bro. You looked a little desperate. You looked a little thirsty. Okay, because you said how much you love Jacob. Jacob, I love you, Jacob. I love you, Jacob. I said, you know what? Maybe it's for real. Jacob said to him, it's not that you love me. You used me. Used me to try to become the tribal chief. Used me to try to become a champion. Used me to try to get the Money in the Bank. He said, that ain't happening no more. He said, you know what I think it is? He said, I think it's this title. He said, so why don't you face me for it? Lay the title down. Okay. And what was interesting, Solo, immediately accepted the offer, which I thought was interesting. But then Jacob said to him, he said, I'm going to tell you right now, you better get in where you fit in because I'm all gas, no brakes with it. As soon as he hits the yada, of course, Solo don't like to let Jacob ever get that yada. Ever since that, I don't ever think we ain't never going to be able to hear Jacob say a yada, completely if Solo's in the same area with him. But at this point, Solo comes out. Solo is trying to escape out of the ring. Jacob and Solo's throwing hands. Who comes out? JC Mateo. I'm calling him Jeff Cobbs. I don't care. Jeff Cobbs tries to beat the hell out of Jacob Fatu. Jimmy comes out to help Solo. Now it's Solo and Jacob and Jeff Cobbs beating the hell out of Jimmy. But then Jacob saves Jimmy. And I thought it was interesting because the first thing I thought to myself, if y'all gonna let Jimmy get the hell beat out of him, where is Jay Uso? Jay was just there earlier. Why are you not out there helping your brother, bro?
Trash.
It's insane work. It's insane. They talk about my brother's keeper. Yeah, okay. Then we flash forward.
Am I not my brother's keeper?
Flash forward, man, to Bronson Reed and LA Knight having a match. I mean, great match overall. Bronson Reed hitting LA Knight with about 3 tsunamis. Now, you can tell Wade Barrett was having fun on commentary.
Tsunami!
Hey, I said, man, you're having a little too much fun with this. I mean, to the point where said LA Knight was injured. They said that, which, of course, we know how that is. Giving LA Knight some time, and what I think this is going to give LA Knight even more story for this situation. They really laid the terrible attack on this man. Then we flash forward to, man. Yeah, you said it right, OB-Dub. Oh, gosh, it's right. This was literally 3 minutes of playtime. Okay, and I ain't talking with that Spider-Man scene with the Macho Man Randy Savage. And what I mean by that is this match ended in 3 minutes. By DQ. I mean, come on, we can't do this for my man Ron Killings. And first of all, what I liked is that, it seemed like everybody was dapping up Ron Killings to the point where my man, I seen my man go from mad to somewhat satisfied, somewhat okay. And I was like, all right, and then we still call him R-Truth? What's going on? Whatever. Anyway, ends in a DQ. John Cena hits Ron Killings with the title. And then CM Punk comes out to try to save the day. That meant nothing because then John Cena put CM Punk through the table. And I mean, you want to talk about a pipe bomb promo to the point where John Cena literally called out some names. And I'm not talking WWE names. I'm talking, Nick Nemeth. Okay. Claudio Castagnoli, Matt Cardona. These were names that are not here no more. That we're talking, independent AEW names, TNA names. Okay? Great pipe bomb. I actually really like this. This was good. And honestly, to the point where he said, thanks for letting me, take your moment. He even said he was jealous of him. He was like, I am the greatest of all time. You've been telling lies. All of a sudden, the third. Then he even told USA Network, that they can keep the 2 extra minutes, they ain't gonna need it. And this is the finish right here.
That was crazy work.
I gotta get a drink for this. This is crazy.
That was crazy work, indeed.
That was a lot. That was a lot, man. Look, this was a good night of SmackDown. I was not mad about anything that happened tonight. We talk about a lot of things that happened. We talk about a few things, Main thing I talked about, of course, LA Knight. You killed it out there, okay? That promo, bro, A1. I love what you said. Love what you did. And, of course, Sammy, hey, lovable loser. I'm starting to think Sammy might not turn, man. I'm starting to think Sammy's not going to be one to turn heel at all. I'm starting to think 100% Sammy might, he might even win the Royal Rumble next year. Because the way they are pushing and talking about this so much, I think it's soon to happen. I just don't think it's gonna be at a SummerSlam. I don't think it's gonna I think he's gonna have a WrestleMania moment. Might be in Vegas. We'll see what happens with that. But Cena, bro, hey, I ain't gonna lie, man. This was a promo that I thought this might have been one of your best ones. And I say that with all respect, man. Like you said a lot. He even said to CM Punk, I like you a lot more than other people liked you in other locker rooms. Come on now, y'all know what he was talking about. That was crazy.
That was smooth.
I was like, man, look. And then honestly, him saying, he told the cameraman to come up, waving at the camera. He said, hey, did I break the fourth wall? I said, yo. A lot of callbacks, a lot of good things that I like what Cena said on here. I don't think he really lied about anything. To be honest, I need Cena to do more promos like this. This is what I need. I need you to be shocking people like the way you did last night. Okay, because that was a banger, man. I wasn't mad about this. I didn't even think I didn't have no problem with this. I like how he, he said, yo, nobody's gonna stop me backstage because nobody likes you. Then when I thought, oh, I almost forgot. He even said a few things about Punk. He said, oh, you say you're not for TKO? He said, man, TKO is all for you. I was like, yo, like, just a lot of stuff that I know people said, said some stuff about CM Punk. Maybe he's corporate Punk. But I think, boy, I mean, he said, man, you even go against your own morals, all this stuff. I said, yo, Cena, yo, this is crazy. I wasn't mad about none of this at all. And I loved everything he did, man. Look, Cena, I'm not going to say you might have to continue having this title. But look, if you're going to keep giving us promos like this, yeah, actually, yeah, know what I mean? Yeah.
And then he mentioned something. Didn't he mention something as well, about he's the one that gave him the time to do the pipe bomb?
Yeah.
He said that. He said it. I mean, this was good stuff. Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Just real quick, the highlights. Love the thing with Naomi coming out with the Money in the Bank and Nia Jax stopping her. Love it. I like to see where that's going. They got to stop sending Jimmy out to the ring to get beat down. My man can't catch a W. I mean, my man came running out there with purpose and got beat down instantly. Get it out of here. And
Two
then,
hits and it was done.
And then on top of that, like you said,
Insane.
we just saw Jimmy get beat down by Gunther a few months back, and Jay had a problem with it. Now he's getting beat down. Jay doesn't even come out. I keep the storytelling consistent. And then lastly, Cena. That's just the highlight of the night. The pipe bomb. I'm not even going to. We don't even have to get into what happened with Cena and our killings. I don't know if we even expected much. But the pipe bomb, that was dope. The fact that they allowed him to kind of mention names outside of the promotion, but he talked about them in terms of everybody got on Cena for years about snuffing out talent, but he talked about CM Punk has this history too, to people like a Claudio Castagnoli and the couple of Matt Cardona,
Nick
Nemeth. So it was an interesting thing. My thought process the entire time about it was CM Punk sitting there listening to this. Like, did he want to get up and go hands with Cena? Because I felt like some of it was some good personal ribs that he had to sit there and take. And then when you get to the point where you talk about with the Slim Jim table, the branding on the table, crazy work. But when you talk about CM Punk and how he's the whole thing for the people, and he's like, you're a millionaire. Like, TKO is already like, bought you and knocked your balls off. Like it's diabolical. It was crazy work.
Tough work.
But I like it. That was like one of the most heel things I've seen Cena do since his return. Just be that honest and that upfront on the mic. And then I loved the ending of, I don't even need the 2.5 minutes. You can get USA. You can keep those.
That's great. That's beautiful stuff. It's beautiful stuff. I mean, look, that's what you want. That's what you want out of all of this. I was going to give a shout. I'm glad you said something, HB Press, because this man sat there for, I don't know, 6-7 minutes.
10 minutes almost.
Didn't move. He sat there for 6 or 7 minutes. Didn't move. I said, man, that must be the best snap. And there's no way they had my man sitting up on the table like this, and he didn't move. So I wanted to give Cena a shout out for that, because I thought he did a really good. Punk a shout out for that, because he just sat there and he took it. I will say this, that
sounded crazy. That was
crazy.
That was crazy.
But let's see how it went last night. They may have just took it. So, but I will say this: the promo was good. I love what I saw from it. I agree. They definitely have to have more of this from Cena. But I said last week, and I'll continue to say, I need more heelish activity from Cena. Him coming out there, letting people talk trash about him for 5 minutes while he just staring in the ring. I didn't like that. So it was good to see him talk back. Now I need to see him and just hitting people with the belt. I need more than that. I need some sneak attacks. I need you to hit somebody from behind, smile at him, walk away. I need something. I need a little bit more heel from Cena. I know that, he's a little bit older now, but I just need a little bit more. But this promo was a really good start to what it could be if done right. Wanted to say also, get right about Jimmy. Stop sending Jimmy to the ring. It ain't worth it. Where's the tribal chief? Where's the tribal chief, man? Come save your cousins, man. They're out here getting destroyed mentally and physically all at the same time. Somebody come out there and save him. You got Jey Uso bringing his son out there to watch him lose in front of all those people, and then he had to hug his son. Got to hug him at the end of the match to try to make him feel better. You got Jimmy getting beaten up. The only thing Jimmy winning that in his life
snapped.
Yes, right. And the only thing Jimmy winning in life is that Naomi has been hyping this man up for at least a month on social media, talking all that crazy stuff, bringing out briefcases. They got a black thong in there with
caution when wet, slippery when wet, or something like that.
Slippery when wet. You got a picture of the Jimmy action figure laying on the thong. If it was Naomi is making this man's status as, oh, Jimmy's a cool guy, to, hey man, this guy might be the GOAT. She is Big Jim is getting all the love that he needs, and Naomi, he could be losing in the ring, but the man is winning in life. So I just wanted to make sure he got love on that. Don't like the Alexa Bliss Charlotte thing. I don't know what they're doing with that, and I don't like it. And if you're trying to force another tag team on us that nobody really wants, then you can just go on somewhere with that. I agree with Eric what he said earlier about just getting tired of seeing Nia Jax ruining Naomi's chances of doing some stuff here and taking that title. So that needs to change. You can't keep having that going on, man. Just can't have that keep going on. But overall, great SmackDown. I love it, all the way from Brunson destroying poor LA Knight being as cool as the other side of the pillow on the mic against Paul Heyman. Then on top of that, getting a chance to see Randy Orton cook on the mic, and that line that he threw at Jay was probably one of the smoothest. I said, yeah, he got him on that one. That was cool. That was cool. So it's one of those things where you kind of want to see Randy win number 15, because I think Randy would be really good as one more time as world champion. This version of him would be good to see.
Yeah. Dub, what's your thoughts, man? What you think?
Yeah, first things first. I think WWE is trying to build to Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. Finally, I wanted that match to happen a while ago, but it looks like they're building towards that at Night of Champions to determine who's going to face, the world champion at SummerSlam. So, I don't have an issue with that. I think that would be a great match there, even though I'm not a big Cody fan, and I really don't want to see Randy Orton win 15 because I'm tired of giving old people championships. But
I love it.
That's another conversation for another day. But all in all, I think that would be a good match, Cody versus Randy. As far as Ron Killings, man, something told me that they were going to do him dirty when they brought him back. They didn't want to bring him back, but because the fans were like, yo, we want this guy back, they was just like, yeah, we have no other choice. So now that they brought him back, I feel as if they're just gonna BS this entire run with Ron Killings. We gave him a main event spot with John Cena on SmackDown that lasted 3 minutes, ended in no disqualification. There isn't gonna be a real run. I feel as if they're just gonna, kill him off slowly, and just be like, oh well, we gave y'all what y'all want. So hey, deal with it. You feel what I'm saying? But that's that. As far as John Cena, first of all, before I get to this pipe bomb, if you're gonna hit somebody with a championship belt or with any weapon, can you please make it look real? These little soft landings, bro, what is this? Come on, it looks like a 10-year-old can survive those championship hits. Come on, man. If you're gonna hit somebody, hit them. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the pipe bomb, man, I've been trying to break this down because there's so many layers to this pipe bomb. So many things that John Cena said. First of all, he exposed the hypocrisy of CM Punk. I am a huge CM Punk fan. I was watching live when CM Punk dropped the pipe bomb, the original pipe bomb, and I absolutely loved it. In this particular instance, first of all, he called CM Punk Mr. TKO. And we all know as wrestling fans, TKO is really the enemy right now because they are putting money over what the fans really want. You know what I'm saying? Just with the whole WrestleMania thing and backing out of New Orleans because Vegas had a higher bid and they want to make more money there. That's a whole different conversation.
The sponsorships.
the sponsorships, this little Slim Jim, like that's the only thing
The
that I
Slim Jim
noticed.
tables are crazy.
Like that's the only thing I noticed during this whole pipe bomb thing was that damn Slim Jim logo. Like they knew John Cena was gonna say something crazy. So I'm just like, hey, let's just get this out. Bam.
Bro,
Like,
no, for real.
Like, come on, bro. Like, but we know TKO is pretty much the enemy right now, and pretty much calling CM Punk Mr. TKO exposed the hypocrisy of CM Punk, because CM Punk several years ago said that, Saudi Arabia, blood money, all that stuff, and you were thinking that CM Punk would never wrestle in Saudi Arabia, and John Cena pretty much was just like, yo, you'll do anything if there's a price attached to it. Mm-hmm. He's main eventing a Saudi Arabia show after CM Punk criticized people for wrestling over there because of the whole blood money and all that. I don't want to get into that, but he's pretty much exposing that. And then he goes on to mention Claudio Castagnoli, Nick Nemeth, and Matt Cardona. Those were the type of wrestlers that CM Punk advocated for back when he was going through his peak in 2011, 2012, where he was just like, yo, there are guys who deserve opportunities. There's so much great talent under this WWE umbrella that WWE isn't utilizing. And if we're being honest, even though those three guys that John Cena mentioned weren't necessarily fumbles, those three guys could have been utilized a whole lot better, especially Nick Nemeth, even though he is a two-time world champion. Like, come on, bro. If Nick Nemeth, Dolph Ziggler, if he was in his prime in today's age, no, we may be talking about him being the greatest of all time. Because, dude, the way they're just handing out championships nowadays, bro, Dolph Ziggler would be a shoo-in for greatest of all time. Like, this dude can absolutely go in the ring. Yeah. I said so those were the kind of guys that CM Punk advocated for back then. And CM Punk, they're all doing successfully well outside of the WWE umbrella. And what does CM Punk do? He comes back to wrestling after a several-year hiatus and has the opportunity to elevate another promotion in AEW. And he gets fired, quits, depending on who you talk to in that situation. And he goes back to the same place that he complained about all these years. Now he's the one making all this money. Now he's the millionaire. Now he's the one who is corporate, as John Cena said, while these other guys left probably off of the fuel of this whole CM Punk thing. Like, yo, you can go elsewhere and do better things outside of WWE. Those guys are actually doing well, and they're seeing CM Punk go back to that very company that he dissed all these years. Now he's main eventing a Saudi Arabia show, making all this money. Like, John Cena knew what he was doing, and he spoke so well. Like, he's arguably the greatest promo guy of all time, the best guy on the mic. Like, I have to give props to John Cena for this. But no, the way he just exposed CM Punk, I hated seeing it because I'm a huge CM Punk guy. But honestly, he didn't tell not one lie in that entire promo. And like, I know John Cena is technically heel, but after that promo, is he really heel now? Mm. Because, dog, like, that promo, I think it has close to 1 million views on YouTube right now. Like, everybody is loving this version of John Cena. Like, is he still heel? I wouldn't be surprised if they start booing CM Punk on Friday Night SmackDown or Raw, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, bro. It was a great promo, as y'all said. So much to unpack. I mean, I'll probably figure out some more stuff as I dive into it more, but after watching it a couple of times, that was like the gist of what I caught from the promo. But no, man, shout out to SmackDown. Shout out to John Cena. They did their thing on that one for sure.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah, the crowd cheered, John.
They did, man. It's kind of crazy, like, how the crowd reacted to him, whether it was a pipe bomb or even after the fact. I mean, every time he called himself the greatest of all time, that crowd popped and went crazy. I
don't understand why they would pop over that, but I get it.
Yeah,
they popped for almost anything this man said at that point. Like, this man didn't get a boo. All right, I think the only time he had a boo was when he was beating up R-Truth. But then after that, everything else they cheered for. So
yeah, I gotta keep remembering that this generation, John Cena is this generation's GOAT For sure. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of those fans that are in the crowd, a lot of those fans are people that grew up early 2000s leading into this, and that Cena's their guy. I mean, they didn't get a chance to really fully enjoy the Attitude Era, I think, like a lot of us. And so
I don't know nothing about it.
Yeah, they don't know nothing about it. And so like you'll hear things like he'll say he's the greatest of all time, but I'm like, I don't know about that. You know, I can't sit here and say that. You know, there's too many. There's too many greats. And this is the LeBron. This is the LeBron argument about rings.
Versus Jordan.
Hold on, wait a minute. This is LeBron argument about rings. He said it earlier. What did he say? He said ring culture is a bad thing. He pretty much tried to dispel ring culture. Well, I mean, there may be a lot of people looking at it like, well, maybe we're just disband championship culture. Okay, you got 17 rings, but that don't mean you're the greatest of all time. There's a lot of Stone Cold fans that were like his 6 or 7 championships will trample anything of his 17 championships. So that's what I meant by that. You know, I'm not going to get into the LeBron Jordan debate because that's something that will go on.
Man. No LeBron slander, man. Please.
I don't hate LeBron. I don't hate LeBron. Look right here. Yeah. See right there. That's that Miami Heat. You know, look, we got 2 rings because of. We got 2 rings because of LeBron. I'm not gonna sit here and act like that ain't happened. You know, I'll be honest with you. I didn't want him there when it happened. I was like, no, please God, I don't want LeBron because all the bandwagon fans go jump on, and they're not true Heat fans. But I do thank him for the 2 championships. But Georgia's still my guy. I'm going with that. I don't hate him though. I don't hate him.
Oh man. But, you know, we talked about some of the great things that happened on Monday Night Raw. You know, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes going crazy. You know, we talked about a lot of the great things with Shawn Michaels cooking it up as always, like he normally does. And, of course, you know, we talked about some of the great things with Friday Night SmackDown. You know, CM Punk, John Cena, Ron Killings, Jacob 5'2", the man with the magic boot, going crazy. But, as always, please make sure y'all follow all of our social medias. Facebook, we on that. X, we on that. Instagram, we on that. TikTok, we on that as well. And look, just as always, we appreciate the love and support y'all been giving us, and it's just been great, man. Like the love y'all been giving us, the support. Hey, OV Dub, thanks, man, for coming with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Some greatness of a great wrestling knowledge that I knew that you had that you could give and show to the people that we got on this audience, man.
Appreciate it.
As always, I'm your humble host, your man, your myth, your legend, Eric Knight. We had the legacy maker himself, Mr. Xclusive. We had my man, OV Dub, over here, killing it as always. And we had the one man and the only man that can check you into the Heartbreak Hotel, and that's the Heartbreak Prince himself. Because we are the Xclusive Knights, and we ensure that we are the best there is, the best there was, and the best that ever will be. And to ensure that your nights will never be the same.
Never, baby. Never.
Another great champion.